HR has been wasting millions of dollars, and now it has been proven by Oxford University. So stop blaming me and your employees when they tell you this is not what we want, because now it is Oxford University who is telling you that you've been wasting millions of dollars, yet you are still the victim. And yet I need to understand which other department would be allowed to waste millions of dollars without consequences. So let's dive into it. I'm Sylvia. I'm an organizational psychologist, and last year I have written hundreds and hundreds of articles on LinkedIn and social media which resonated with the online community worldwide, from C-suite level executives all the way to line employees. And my friend said, you know what, why don't you put it on YouTube? Not everybody likes to read. So I said, I will do it, but I will not do a big production first. I'm going to sit on my sofa and I'm going to, put this content online. Now, my aim with my articles, and I will put all the links which I'm going to talk about today, including the research from Oxford University, below so you can follow. So my aim with my articles is really to get you thinking differently about corporate practices, because corporations are broken. So these 15 to 20 minutes videos are really just me going through these articles one by one. Link will be in there so you can read it and talk about it and elaborate a little bit more, because obviously articles and they have limitations. So please do put your comment or how you feel. Remember, I am not right. I will never claim. I've been trained at university not to ever make that claim that I'm right, because human beings are super complicated. But debate this is how we learn, this is how we grow, and this is how we progress forward. So don't take my word, don't take anybody's word for anything. Have your input and just try to think about, what if everything that's been done in corporations don't work? Because you know what? One thing I can say, most of the things don't work. But it also depends from which angle we look at. So this is where the scientific approach comes into it. But let's get to the topic. I have my laptop, my notes, just like last time. Last time we talked about, if you want to watch the previous video, we talked about HR in general, and I raised the question, is there such a thing as HR? Because when you start peeling off the layers, which are the functions of human resources, you realize that there is no such a thing as HR, and maybe we should be turning them into employee experiences. And this study, link is below, confirms this. Now, the latest research from Oxford University, it stirred the world of organizational psychology and human resources and well-being this week, because they issued a research, and they just said that they did not sugarcoat anything, which I was very, very happy. Most of the times these guys are very, like the Swiss on the fence, not taking any stance. But these guys, they were not shy to say that, hey, your well-being initiatives, human resources, they don't work. But which well-being initiatives? And I also, in my article, I corrected this research. I took the liberty, and I'm so sorry, I would not disagree. I mean, that's academia, right? You need to fight back. But I disagreed with the research, because it's not that well-being initiatives don't work. It's the way organizations, human resources, understand what well-being is, and under the umbrella, they end up doing stupid things, like the ones which we are going to talk about. So it's not that well-being initiatives don't work. They do work, because when well-being is done properly, they do exactly and address the exact same areas that the research has indicated. So that's one mistake from Oxford University, just for you guys. But I love the paper, and here is what they say. So they finally proved that what I've been saying for a year now. And the reason I reached that conclusion a year ago, that, you know, we always felt that these ice cream, your yoga classes, your gym membership, that, you know, all that kind of interventions, they are just, I'm like, what are you doing? Did you really think, human resources, that a toxic work environment, your old school policies and procedures will be fixed with my monthly gym membership, or with the yoga session, or with the stress management workshop? Now, this is what they said, that basically, and the reason I reached that conclusion, sorry, coming back to it, because I listened to my employees. For years, I have done my research on employee experience. So I've been doing employee experience since 2018, and now it's 2024. And I listened to my employees, and they all said the same, that why are we doing the staff party? Why do we need to do fancy dress, employee of the month, stupid nonsense? Why do we have to be forced to go and play games when we have work to do, and that was giving us stress, etc.? So I listened. And if you guys, if you human resources listened, you would not have to wait for Oxford University and other journals coming out with the summary of your employees' experiences, because then you would know. And the reason, there are a few reasons that you don't know, is either you did not listen, you did not care what you are hearing, or you did not believe them. And now you need a reputable university to tell you what your employees been telling you for years, probably. So the study, and it has been a 46,000 participants group, a sample group, which is massive, and is the largest of its kind. They concluded, which I've been saying, organizations have to change the workplace and not the workers. How many times I have written, just you can go back in my articles, I've been saying this for a while, that we are fixing the wrong thing. We are fixing the employees, but it's not the employee who is broken. Employees are reacting to the broken system. So we need to first fix the system and then move on to helping employees. And then here we can distinguish what is wellness and well-being, because that's also a confusion. So I'm going to go into it just a tiny little bit. So HR, can we please fix this, you know, or stop this fixing the people when the system is broken because it's just not working? Now, they concluded, the study has concluded that these interventions, and I would like you to pay attention, individual-led interventions. So basically interventions that are focusing on the employees, right? They had no impact on employees' well-being. And don't go with the fluffy understanding of well-being. I will come back to it, okay? Because it's not that, oh, Sylvia is super happy. That's not what we are talking about. So when you want to fix well-being of an employee and you are targeting the individual instead of the system, this is what you are going to do. Mindfulness sessions or programs, right? Resilience workshop, stress management programs, yoga, meditation app, you know, sleep applications, hydration. This is how much you need to drink. This is what you need to eat. This is how many times you need to go to the gym per week or exercise. All pushing back on the responsibility on the employees. So the employees are the ones that are being stressed, right? So we are talking about their well-being. Now, this is a very stupid, and I really don't know how they came up with this, I swear to God. It's a really stupid approach, because if I'm stressed, should not be the first thing we ask, what is stressing you out, Sylvia? And the Oxford study found that is not, you know, the employees don't stress themselves out, so now we need to give them the tool to fix themselves. what's the stressors of employees are organizations. Everything that is, I've been talking about, your policies, your procedures, your practices, your leadership, those are the stressors. So what helps is organizational change. So interventions that starts with the organization. Because if you fix me with your application, meditation application, but you put me back in a toxic environment where my leader is an asshole, sorry for the language, but this is it sometimes, your application, the impact of your application on me will immediately diminish the moment I set foot in the office. So first, no well-being intervention is going to survive in a rotten environment, a toxic, an unhealthy, a dysfunctional. You can pick whatever word, because not every workplace is toxic and not every leader is horrible or are horrible, but the environment. So first we need to fix the environment, and then we can move on to the employees if there is still something to fix. Stop fixing people. I'm not a big fan of that. We need to guide people. We need to create a system in which they can function well, and then guide within those well-functioning, healthy environment. Now, what helps, what is within these organizational changes that has an impact, based on the study, on employees' well-being? Clarity around their role. Today I was with a company, and the first thing came up when I asked what would, or my colleague asked, what would make you happy, one thing, or happier at work? I don't like to use the word happiness, but you know, that was the question. And the first thing came up, clarity. People don't know why they are there. What is their role? What the expectations of them, you know, the organizations expect of them. They don't, we are just there. So that impacts well-being. And the yoga session is not going to solve that problem, right? Healthy relationships and leadership. So important. No, nothing will fix outside relationships. So this is relationship between the co-workers. This is relationship between the managers and the line employees, leaders, etc. Amongst the department, intergroup, and you know, within groups, or amongst groups. So all that kind of relationship. Is it a healthy environment that I'm not talking about happiness. When I go to work, do I feel, I don't want to be in this place? Or, you know what, let's go to work. It's going to be really hectic, but you know what, everybody's cool. And that's it. I can go to my manager, leader, and ask for help. My head will not be taken off, you know, and removed if I do that. So that's what we are talking about. Job security. With all the layoffs that we started the year with. Job security is massive. And unfortunately, is now, it's very, very, you know, it keeps coming back, job security, everybody's being laid off. And now it's not something that we can rely on. So we need to figure this one out. And I don't have the recipe for that, because job security is never going to be the same as we had 20 years ago. So we need to figure this one out urgently, because that has a massive impact on people's not only well-being, motivation as well. And we don't have a recipe for that. Then flexibility at work. We've been talking about flexible working hours, right? The jobs with the autonomy and all that. That helps employees' well-being. Appropriate level of manning. If I'm short of staff constantly, and you give me a Employee of the Month certificate with your stupid celebration, how is that going to help? Tell me. Your thought process, human resources, because I would like to understand that. Rather don't do it, because now you're removing me from my role for 1 hour for the silly celebration, and I need to go back to work, and now I stay 1 more extra hour because I could not finish my job because of you. Now you added extra stress on me. So don't do that. 4-day working week comes under flexible working hours, right? So enough rest for people and switch off, and stop sending out of working hours emails and messages and harassing people, really, sometimes, you know, it is harassment, 8 p.m. But did you finish the report? Just check your inbox. And if it's not there, no, I did not. And I will do it tomorrow morning. So looking at this, now, when I shared this with my colleague, he said, but here is the good news. There is always a good news in my world. When I shared this with my colleague, he said, you know what, because they opted for the easy alternative. And, you know, initially I'm like, yes, they just found a way, you know, cop out. But then I went back, I'm like, you know what, they actually HR opted for the hardest part. That is the hardest part, trying to fix people. It's much easier to fix your organization. You fix your policies, to fix your procedures, to fix your, you know, work contract, the leadership. It's much easier. The culture, it's easier to fix the culture. Give it to me. It's hard, but I'd rather fix an organization's culture than its people. Because individuals are so complex. So this is the good news. And I think HR and organizations should be very, very happy with this study, because then they can go back to the CHRO. Hey, Lovelies, we tried this, okay? So HR, pay attention. I'm supporting you in here with your argument. Hey, Lovelies, we tried this nonsensical approach of, you know, yogurt and organic apple and whatever they come up with, and donuts and pizza. But it's not working, and we just wasted money. Should we be fired because we wasted millions of dollars? Probably we should be fired because we failed our job. We failed to develop, we failed to reach the level of competence that required to fight back against this nonsense. Because if your line staff knew, then you should have known as well that it's not working. But anyway, that's a different conversation, right? So now HR can really go back, hey, it's not working, let's start fixing the organization, and then later on moving on to employees, right? The individual elements of the organization. First, we need to create an environment that they could thrive in and be happy and functional. And then if they are still not, then maybe there are other external elements that we can help them with, right? So this is where the wellness element comes into it. Well-being is supported, you know, employee experience. Well-being is within. Well-being is within the organization. Well-being data supports employee experience design. So I collect the data about different areas of your well-being, your leadership, your compensation, your days off, your, you know, everything that is related to processes and policies. Then I take this data and then I create an employee experience, design everything based on that. That is well-being. Wellness, so that's group that's related to the employees, the workforce, the entire workforce and within, but is related not to the employee, but to your processes. And then once we fix that, so that's the well-being of the organization, then we can move on to wellness that targets the individuals, because you can't really build good or well-being within the organization, or good teams, healthy teams with sick individuals. So we need to look at both, right? But first, your environment. So I think this is what HR should start doing. You know, dismantle your construction crew that was put together to fix the individuals, because we don't need that. And put together another construction crew that is going to dismantle your organizational practices and build new policies and procedures based on the data that you are collecting from your employees. Don't just sit down and like HR do, oh, let's brainstorm within the briefing what we can do for our thousands of employees. You don't know. Don't do the brainstorming, okay? You've been doing that, and that resulted in low productivity, high turnover, and millions of dollars waste, okay? Don't do the brainstorming, we don't need that. What we need is you run surveys, well-being surveys. If you want, I can give you the link for that. I know platforms, or I'm working together with a couple of, people who run fantastic platforms. They collect such a rich data that you can scrutinize the data until the day you die, okay? And then use those data to build your employee experiences. And this is where, you know, you can come into the picture from attracting all the way to exit. Now, start doing that, and, you know, and this is a good start. This is a fresh start for HR. Be happy for that, right? Be happy for that, because it actually is helping you. I know it's a big slap in the face, and LinkedIn went crazy, and HR has been slaughtered in the past 1 week since the study came out, I think on the 14th. But take it on your chin, close that chapter, move on. It's a massive fail. I would not be surprised if people, HR professionals, would lose their job over that, because it's a serious waste of organization, mishandling of organizations' money. But hey, it's been done, and try to fix the organization within, especially focus on leadership, clarity around people's roles, expectations, reward, compensation, and benefit. The culture, job security is an issue, so maybe we will talk about it the next time, and level of manning, and try to look at what are the stressors of your employees and find solution together. You don't have the solution, okay? You don't have the solution. Ask your employees what would help them. Every workplace is very different. Every individual is very different. But, you know, if you start addressing these things one by one, based on the data that you collected, not based on your brainstorming with another incompetent HR professional, a colleague of yours, that's not very helpful, then you can solve the problem. So it's a good news, I think, for HR, that they wasted millions and they are still playing the victim. Lovelies, that's no longer going to fly. And it's, yeah. And this, you know what? It should really go into your annual appraisal. You failed. You failed at that. And you wasted money. Anyway, so that's for today. I will put all the links in there and start design. Let's move away from individual solutions. Let's focus on the organizational changes, and let's fix the workplace. Start fresh. It's still January, you know, and just take it on your chin. We all mess up. Nothing happened, okay? What happened is the organization waste more people, more money. But hey, it's done. They have enough money, okay? Don't sweat about it. Don't lose sleep. But take it seriously, because, you know, it's out there. You can no longer fool employees with your pizza party, coffee in the canteen, coffee machine slides, and all that. And we knew that. We knew that intuitively. Everybody was like, is this what I'm gonna get instead of my bonus? Okay. So you HR, you have the ammunition in your hand to fight the C-suite. Go and do it. Go and do it. I will put the study in the link, or the link of the study below, and my article and everything you need. And if you need help, let us know. I will pass you on to professionals. You're welcome.